Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Angela, and in this video I'm going to take you along with me as I travel to the Big Apple to go visit my sister and enjoy all of the good food and everything that New York City has to offer. But first, I wanted to show you a very exciting package that I just received in the mail. Monos very kindly sent me their carry-on suitcase, which I have heard so many amazing things about. So let's open it up and check it out. Oh my goodness. Look how gorgeous this suitcase is. This is the Monos carry-on suitcase in their limited edition sage green color, which I just think is so stunning. It has the TSA approved locks and it feels really lightweight, which is great. So you've got the zipper side, and then this side has compression straps, which I've never seen in a carry-on suitcase before, but I'm really excited for, because if you watched my channel before, you know I love to go on really long trips with just a carry-on. I am super excited to take this with me on my next trip, and thank you so much to Monos for sponsoring this video. If you want to check out their line of suitcases, you can click the link in my description box. But without further ado, let's head over to New York City. I am currently in New York City and I'm going to be exploring for the week. Last night I got into LaGuardia pretty late and just took the bus and the subway here to my sister's place, which is where I'm going to be staying for the next week, and I'm going to be doing some exploring. My friends are going to be joining at the end of the week, so I might see them as well. But essentially I'm just here for the week to see my sister and enjoy New York City, check out all the fun places that I haven't checked out last time. If you've seen my channel before, you might know that I was in New York 2 years ago and we did most of the sightseeing and all of that in that video. So if you want to check that out, you can click right over here. It's super hot this week, so hopefully we don't melt, but we have some fun things planned, so I'll take you along with me for the week. We started our day off by grabbing a drink from Dunkin', since we don't have that in Canada, and same for Trader Joe's, which we popped into so I could check out the new products and grab some snacks that I can't find back home. Afterwards, we head to Pasta de Pasta in the East Village, which my sister told me was a TikTok trending restaurant for their homemade fresh fettuccine alfredo, which is swirled around in a giant cheese wheel and you can add different toppings to. We ordered one with mushroom and onions and another with chicken and broccoli, and I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of mediocre and I think it was a little overhyped. But afterwards we walked over to Lafayette Bakery, which is a French cafe and bakery in NoHo that's famous for their cream-filled round croissant called the Supreme. Then we walked down to Soho to do some shopping and checked out a bunch of different stores like the Real, Polen, and a few sample sales as well. The last time I visited New York, we were trying to see all of the different attractions and do so much that we never had time to just stroll the streets and pop into all of the different stores, so it was nice to have a slightly more laid-back trip this time. After a few hours of roaming around Soho, we took a bus down towards Financial District and stopped to grab a bite from Los Tacos Numero Uno, which is one of my favorite places to eat when I'm in New York City. I absolutely love their tacos, and you're gonna see them a few more times in this vlog. Since we were in the area, we checked out the Oculus, One World Trade Center, and Italy before heading over to the heart of Financial District for what was probably the highlight of my entire trip. As a huge fan of theater, I love coming to New York for all the Broadway shows, but this was theater like I had never experienced before. My sister got us tickets to Life and Trust, which is essentially a live immersive theater experience with over 25 characters that you can follow in a sort of choose your own adventure experience. Honestly, it's very difficult to explain, but you lock up your phone and you wear this mask and essentially run around 6 floors of a beautifully designed set in this old building, following different characters as they act out their part of the overarching story. It was definitely a workout to follow these characters who move very quickly around this labyrinth of a set, so you sometimes lose them and start following another character who comes along. I followed the main character Conwell for the first round, and then they reset and you can follow another character, so I followed Dorian Gray for the second round, and then at the end they bring everyone together for a very impressive dance finale. This experience is definitely far from cheap, but it was by far one of the coolest things that I've ever experienced. The next day, we head over to try some New York bagels from Pop-Up Bagels, but since they didn't have any seats, we walked down the street to Xi'an Famous Foods because we wanted to try their spicy cumin lamb noodles and their liang pi, which were both really delicious. While we were there, we also tried the everything bagel with cream cheese that we bought, which was super yummy. I am definitely a diehard Montreal bagel fan at heart, but this was probably the best New York bagel I've tried so far. After lunch, we head back to my sister's place for a bit to chill because it was so hot outside. And then later in the evening, we went to Urban Hawker, which is the only Singapore-inspired food hall in New York, where they have a ton of food stalls that sell dishes from different Southeast Asian cuisines. After scoping out all of the options, we landed on the classic Hainan chicken rice from Hainan Jones and also ordered some chicken satay skewers and beef rendang from Patty NYC. For a sweet treat to end the night, we got a classic banana pudding from Magnolia Bakery and watched the Olympics at the Rockefeller Center before heading to bed. Hello. It has been a while since I last updated you. It's just gonna chill a few days because everybody is working during the day except for me. So I've just been doing a little bit of solo adventures, grabbing some food and stuff during the day. And then last night we went to Bryant Park to go see an outdoor movie. It was free. It was sponsored by Paramount Plus. It was so busy though. I got there at 6. The movie starts at 8 and it was already like completely full. Almost. I luckily snagged 2 chairs, which was great because it was super comfy, but there was just so many people coming in to see the movie. We had watched How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, which is one of my favorite rom-coms, so that was super fun. And then this morning I went out to Times Square to go line up for rush tickets for The Wiz, which I got tickets to, so we're going to be hanging out there very soon. Those were $45 a ticket and you can get up to 2 per person, and so I just lined up for those. I think I was like 5th in line and I got some hopefully decent seats. They are technically partial view, but hopefully it's not too obstructed. But yeah, I picked those up, did some shopping around Times Square, grabbed a slice of Joe's Pizza, which was so good, and then I head back and chilled for a little bit because it's just so hot outside. So now we are heading out to go back to Times Square to go see The Wiz, but on the way I'm going to try to grab like a quick bite so we don't have very much time. It's about like a 30-minute walk, so I'll take you along with us to go see The Wiz. For dinner, we stopped by Vanderbilt Market on our way to the show because if you can't already tell, I love a good food haul. I decided to try Yum Yubu, which serves these little tofu pockets filled with sushi rice, and you can choose from different toppings like salmon, bulgogi, and egg, which were all really tasty. Then we walked over to the Marquee Theater to watch The Wiz, which is a Broadway show that retells the story of the Wizard of Oz in the context of African American culture and has won a ton of Tony Awards. It's super funny, and we even got to meet a bunch of the cast at stage door after the show as they signed playbills. During the intermission, we struck up a conversation with the guy who was sitting next to us, and we found out that he was a theater performer himself who had toured worldwide, which was really cool. The next day, I head out for a little bit of solo adventuring. I walked down 5th Avenue, did a little bit of window shopping, checked out this beautiful Apple store near Central Park, and then I head over to Sugarfish to meet up with my sister and enjoy some delicious omakase-style sushi. I ordered the Trust Me set, which includes 8 courses for $46, which I think is a really good deal for the quality of sushi. Sugarfish is definitely one of my staples whenever I visit New York City, and I really hope they open a location in Toronto soon. Afterwards, we head back to Broadway for my second show of the trip, and Juliet, which I was able to snag some cheap rush tickets for under $50 on the Today Tix app. This was such a fun show, perfect for Gen Zs and millennials because it's essentially a reimagined version of Romeo and Juliet with iconic pop songs like Since You've Been Gone and I Want It That Way. Even if you aren't a huge musical theater fan, I think this is a really fun show that anyone would enjoy. On our way out of the theater, a staff member gave me this free poster with all of the cast signatures, which I still have in my room, but I still went to stage door to meet the cast and ask them to sign my playbill for the memories. Despite not having original music, this musical still ranks really high on the ever-growing list of musical performances I've seen in theaters. The next day, I took the subway over to Soho again because my friends had finally arrived in New York, so I met up with them and we did some more shopping around Soho. Because it was a weekday, the lines for a lot of the popular stores were much shorter than the previous time I had come with my sister, so we were able to check out the Gentle Monster store, which was honestly more like a museum or art gallery rather than just a glasses store because they had all of these really interesting sculptures and futuristic exhibits. For lunch, we walked over to Canal Street Market to try the famous Joe's Steam Rice Roll, which was way better than I remembered from my last trip. Right next to it was this chocolate shop opened by Daniel Corpus from Netflix's School of Chocolate. So we got a bunch of flavors to try and they were super decadent. Since we were near Chinatown, we walked over to Ali Mama Tea to try some of their very unique and beautiful drinks. After spending the day with my friends, we split up because they had dinner plans, so I head back to Broadway as the theater fan I am to see if I could snag any cheap tickets. I went to the TKTS booth in the middle of Times Square to ask what they had available for that night, and lucky for me, they had 50% off ticket for The Notebook, so I bought it, and because the show started very soon, I stopped by Los Tacos Numero Uno for a very quick dinner before heading to the theater. As a fan of the movie, I knew the Notebook musical would definitely make me cry, and it did. It was kind of funny to see all of the tear-soaked faces like mine during intermission as we all lined up for the washroom. Near the end of the musical, halfway through the main song, the actress playing Allie suddenly stopped midway because of technical difficulties, and we sat there for 15 minutes confused before they announced that they were experiencing a power outage and that none of the set would move. So they ended up performing the rest of the musical essentially as a concert without the set, which was really unfortunate and a strange experience, but the actors still gave it their all and finished the show. Overall, despite the technical difficulties, this musical was not my personal favorite. I just didn't think that the music was super memorable, and I feel like the movie did it better. On my way home, I picked up some Van Leeuwen ice cream. I tried their peanut butter brownie honeycomb flavor and their mint chip, and it was the perfect sweet treat to end the night. For my last full day in New York City, I head over to Chelsea Market to meet up with my friends and explore all of the many stalls and shops. They hadn't tried Los Tacos Numero Uno, so I encouraged them to try it because it is my favorite. And then we continued to explore the market before stopping to try some hand rolls from Maki a Mano. We tried the 3-piece hand roll set with salmon, lobster, and yellowtail, which was super tasty and made fresh in front of us. Aside from food, Chelsea Market also has a ton of cute stores selling souvenirs and handmade goods, so we checked those out before walking over to Urbana Cafe and Gallery for some cold beverages since it was super hot outside. This cafe had a really nice vibe, some delicious matcha, and the cutest dog. Once we were ready to face the heat again, we walked up to the High Line, which is an elevated park that was converted from an old freight line and provides fantastic views of the Hudson River and New York City skyline on Manhattan's west side. We walked past so many beautiful buildings with stunning architecture before we made it to the vessel, which is a very unique and cool structure and tourist attraction that was built as part of Hudson Yards, which we also explored and shopped around for a few hours. There was a Magnolia Bakery inside, so we tried their limited edition s'mores pudding, which was so delicious. Afterwards, we took the subway over to Times Square so that I could show my friends this famous and frankly overstimulating tourist attraction. And then we walked over to FAO Schwartz, which is the ultimate toy store for kids of all ages. The reason my friends wanted to come here was for their Jellycat diner, where you can visit this custom counter and choose from a menu of food-themed Jellycat plushes. My friend got the Amusables pizza, which comes with a little show and a bunch of extra goodies. Next, I brought my friends to see the iconic Rockefeller Center right next door, where they had a Kate Spade shop that was selling all kinds of fun New York City themed products, as well as this collaboration with Heinz, which as a big ketchup fan, I thought was really cute. Then to continue our New York City tour, I brought my friends over to Central Park and we saw this guy feeding a squirrel before we climbed this giant rock to get a nice view of all of the lovely skyscrapers on Billionaires Row. Afterwards, I parted with my friends to meet up with my sister for dinner at Le René de Venise, which is a very popular French bistro that only serves one option on the menu for $35 per person. According to my sister, this place fills up super fast, so I went at 5:15 to line up for a spot, and by the time I got there, the line was already so long, but luckily I made it in for their first seating. We got salad as a starter and steak with their homemade butter and fries as the main course, which was tasty, but I didn't feel like it was that special to warrant all the hype. Hello, editing Angela here to close out this vlog because I forgot to film an outro, but I had so much fun in New York for the week. I got to see my sister and catch up with her and also hang out with my friends and show them around the city, which was so much fun. And as a Broadway fan and a theater fan, I got to watch 3 Broadway musicals, like Wiz and Juliet and The Notebook, and they were all relatively cheap tickets. If you're a huge Broadway fan, those are great ways to find tickets, is either find their rush tickets. I got in-person rush tickets for The Wiz, and then I did the online rush for Anne Juliet, and those were under $50 per ticket, which is such a good deal for the seats that we got, and that was all so much fun. But honestly, the highlight as a theater fan was Life and Trust. I didn't even know things like this existed until my sister told me about it. To be able to experience it in that setting was so incredible and so different than anything I've seen before. So I absolutely love that, and I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out for any similar experiences in the future. I know that they used to have one called Sleep No More that I wanted to check out, but I didn't get a chance to, but I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out for that next time I go to New York to visit my sister. Overall, I just really love going to New York to eat all the good food and to watch all the musicals that I can't hear. It's definitely a little overstimulating at times, and I can only handle it in small doses, but there's just so much to do in New York and so much to explore, and I love going back because I know that there's going to be plenty to do. And after this trip, I actually head over to Nashville with my friends and my sister to go check it out for the first time, which you'll see in my next vlog. Thank you so much for watching this one. If you want to catch up with some of my previous vlogs, you can check out my Amsterdam vlog right over here. And thank you again to Monos for sponsoring this video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!